Facebook, hi. I moved into a new apartment because I'm taller than the fridge. Feeling real good. And today on Comic Spot, you get another great headliner, a veteran of comedy. We're going to find out all about him. What do we know right now about him? Not much, but we're going to, by the time we get done, in the other square, we have Willie Barcena. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Am I? Or is it
No, you are.
Barcena?
No,
Am
it's
I?
really good. Yeah, good job.
Great. Best pronunciation by a half Jew from Oregon.
No, good job.
So let me read you the introduction that I have for him, because that's the way we do it in Facebook land here. 1 second. So Willie Barcena, 1 hour Comedy Central, special 1 hour Showtime, special 1 hour Netflix. Okay, so he's a triple threat, you guys. He's a triple threat. 2 of the specials are on Amazon Prime right now. 10 Tonight Show appearances with Jay Leno. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
One of his shows on one of his Netflix thing is called The Truth Hurts. I Gotta Be Honest was on Showtime and it's now on Amazon. And Deal With It was my first special, he says, and it was on Comedy Central. This guy's a legend. He's made it. He's arrived. He goes around.
Hey, I'm just trying to work like everybody else. I'm the epitome of a blue collar comic, you know. So I'm just happy to be working at my craft, you know.
You know what I like about you every time is I'm reminded that you're humble.
Yeah, not by design, I guess.
You're not one of these that's all about being talking about how great that you are. You're not that at all.
No, I think because I think stand-up humbles you. You know, you could have a great show one night and get full of yourself, and then, you know, you could do the next night, man, that, you know, that people hate you, and then you got to figure out, you got to keep that balance. You can't get too high, you can't get too low. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
That's true. That's really true. So I'd like to take a moment from the present and go way back into, how did you start comedy? How did you grow up? Were you always funny, or did you come into it later? What got you in the stand? Let's go into the history of Willie Barcena.
Okay, well, as far as always being funny, I don't know if I was always funny, but I mean, I did, you know, growing up, I didn't have much. We came from Mexico to Boyle Heights for a few years, and then when we moved here closer to Hollywood, which is Silver Lake, we still like didn't have much. But as a kid, I remember if I did say something funny, it was, and people laughed, whether they were adults, if adults or friends or whatever, nothing ever made me feel better than that. I mean, nothing that you could, you know, that I could have, you know, no material thing could make me feel better than the ability to make someone laugh, even when I was 7, 8, 9, 10, like that. So I guess it was stuck in my heart, you know, that making people laugh just gave me this, I don't know, a warm feeling, man. I'm not trying to be corny, but yeah, that's what it did for me. But I didn't, you don't realize that. You don't self-analyze. There was, there was no therapy back then, anything like that. And then what happened was I was gonna be a cop. I was gonna be a LAPD, and I was celebrating going to the academy, and I was really excited about all that. And then celebrating so much, I got a DUI, and a friend of mine, I was kind of depressed, down. Going to the academy.
Sorry.
I was really excited about all that, and then celebrating.
I'm trying to make this, I'm so sorry, 1 second. It's really important that I get this up live, and it's giving me a headache. I'm so sorry, Willie.
No worries.
Okay. I hate technology. I blame it all on the Russians. I don't know. It makes me feel better. let's go
Yeah.
back to, you were celebrating so much you got a DUI
Yeah.
when you're
Yeah.
trying to, okay.
Yeah. Right. And then, anyways, a buddy of mine said, when I was down, he said, you should be a comedian. I mean, he thought that was my gift, you know? And then I went for it. And
Mhm.
like, I think every comic has the same story. First night that you try it, you get a few laughs and you get a rush and you feel like, man, I should have an hour special right now, you know? And then the next time I went to the open mic, I sucked very, very bad. And then you realize, man, I got to work at this thing. So hey, yeah. So that's how it went.
So the first time was pretty good.
Yeah.
And then you realized that there's a lot of work to it. And did people come along to help you, or were you self-taught, or did it just come naturally with a little bit of practice? What was your trajectory in comedy like to this point?
Well, I remember, you know, every young comic, because those my early nights, I was trying to get into the store. Like every comic wants to pass Mitzi, you know, back in the day. That was every comic's dream. But she didn't like me, and then it helped that, you know, I cussed her out one night, so that didn't help. And then I was trying at the improv, because if you don't get into the store, maybe you can get into the improv. And they didn't care for me there. You know, because it's like it's this catch-22, you know, where like you have to be good for them to like you, right? You have to be good at these clubs for them to take you in, but then you need the stage time to get better. So there's nowhere to get better. And then a buddy of mine told me about the Comedy Act Theater, where in South Central, where Whoopi Goldberg had filmed her first special back in the day. And that's where I used to go on open mics there. And that's where I feel I really learned stand-up, man. I remember seeing back in the day, it was D.L. Hughley and Chris Tucker and Faison Love, all these guys. I remember Yvette Wilson, rest in peace. All these people were just crushing it, man. And what I liked about, they put me up at the Comedy Act Theater. What I liked about it, where if you didn't have a good night, you know, the audience let you know. It's a predominantly a Black audience. And the thing about a Black audience is they're gonna tell you the truth, you know, whereas I think a white audience tends to be quiet when you suck, which it still hurts, but it doesn't hurt as much as you suck, you know? So yeah, that's where I got, you know, it's where I learned my craft. And going back to your question, yeah, self-taught. I don't know if I don't know. I don't think that word exists, self-taught. I think if you peel the layers to everything, everybody taught us, you know? I mean, I learned from watching television, watching comedy shows, Three's Company when I was a kid, and you watch Timing and Happy Days, and you learn, you know, humor. I did have one comedian take me under his wing, but he only took me under his wing because I kept bugging him to take me under his wing. And he charged me. He charged me to teach me a little bit about the craft. And his name's Larry Omaha, which I love him. That guy is like my father, my brother, my uncle, everything, man. I love him to death. But Larry Omaha, who opens up a lot for Fluffy. Larry, I remember, was it 25 years ago? It had to be more than 25 years ago. I remember he asked me, he goes, hey, I'll teach you what I know. I'll teach you comedy, but I'm gonna charge you $50 an hour. You know, and this is back in the day, and I you know, it wasn't $50 is a lot. And I said, why $50, man? You know, I was like, why 50? He goes, look, man, if I charge you less, or if I do it for free, you're not going to take it serious. But if I charge you $50 an hour, you're gonna listen and you're gonna write notes. And then I'm not gonna waste my time, and you're not gonna waste your time. And it'll show me that you're serious. All right. To me, that was a good sales pitch. I went over and you know, we've been really, really good friends ever since. So that's, I don't know, that's some of it.
What's the most valuable lesson you've learned from another comedian?
From another comedian.
Yeah.
uh,
I've had a lot of them tell me I shouldn't be doing this.
I don't think it was another comedian. I think it's people, you know.
Okay.
People would tell me, like friends, when they would first see me, they were honest, you know, and they would say things like, "Hey man, I know you real well. That's not you. That's not who you are. That's not the Willie I know." Wow. You know, that's kind of like a character. I remember a couple of people, good friends, would tell me that. Even though I would have good shows, they would tell me that. As far as lesson from a comedian, you know, I never thought about that. And chances are when we hang up, you know, it's going to come to me. But I would say Larry Omaha taught me the basic: set up your story, you know, back up your story, and then have a punch. The 1, 2, 3, like that's the you know, a comedy 101. Yeah, because from there on, you create your own vibe, you create your own style. Oh, yeah.
How long did it take you to find your comedic voice? Is that another?
No. You know what? It's funny, as a comedian, you always think you've reached it, and then every 4 or 5 years you look back at your life and go, wow, I'm better now than I was then. And then 3 or 4 or 5 years go by and you go, man, I'm better now than I was then. So to find my voice, 10 years, I'm gonna throw a number, 10 years. It took me 10 years. I'm a slow learner, you know? Yeah, that's, and when people say your voice, I guess it's not so much my voice for comics. It's how to be truthful, who you really are. The guy that the same guy that talks to friends at like when you invite people over to have beers and a little barbecue. How do you get that same guy to be on stage? And I think that's what you mean by your voice, right? So yeah, exactly. So it took me about 10 years.
What's your secret to reading a room?
Energy. I don't read it. You know, I let the spirits, God, whatever you want to call it, I let that take over, and I get myself out of the equation, and I trust whatever entity is gonna speak to go ahead and talk, and I kind of just go on that energy, because if I try to read the room, if I try to do it, then I'm too controlling, and I end up being that substitute teacher where I can't control the room. I'm like, class, you know, everybody shut up, listen. Whereas if it's just like this spiritual thing, this organic thing, this, you know, whatever you want to call it.
That's like nice. I like that.
Yeah.
A lot of people really get into the science of reading a room, and I haven't figured it out. I think every room is similar and every room is different, and they're either gonna get your vibe or they're not.
Yeah, no, I just get out the way, and when I try to, it's almost as when you really get into the study of comedy, what we don't realize, what comedians don't realize, some never get it. They're corny as fuck. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cuss on your show.
That's okay.
Or Facebook. Facebook. I don't know if I'm supposed to say the F word, but it's life. Comedy is life, you know. And as you're going through trials and tribulations of life, you're learning that, and you take it on stage, you know, and you Um, and the beauty about comedy is to share with the audience your flaws. You know, you're flawed. You're a flawed human being, and people understand that. You know, so
That's beautiful. Beautiful. When have you ever entertained the troops?
many times,
That's
many
what I
times.
thought. I could just your vibe. I got the feeling that you have entertained the troops. You're just perfect for that audience.
Yeah. Well, no, you know, that's funny because I remember the first time I went,
Mhm,
I don't know, it was probably 20 years ago.
mhm.
And you realize you ask like the colonel who's in charge that, you know, you ask questions. They're really, really good to us performers out there. And then, you know, the average age, I remember I was, you know, I knew it, but you had to hear it from somebody. Like the average age was like 18 or 19. And I go, holy, you know, crap, man. When I was 18, 19, I was, you know, just worried about fixing my Volkswagen and buying parts and stealing parts, you know. so, so yeah, that's yeah, yeah, that's like, I think for every comic, that's a really, I mean, every comic should entertain the troops at one time or another in their life, because it's just a vibe you get, that you don't get anywhere else.
It is. What do you have a special memory from being in front of the troops or talking to them after, or were you
Um,
anything
man,
special? It's all special.
it's all special, man. You know, I mean, when they come up to you and you can feel like a sincere, like a thankfulness that you're there. I mean, you can feel it without them saying, just on the handshake, you know. There's just a really, and then it's funny because years later, I'll be in different parts of the country, and these older guys now, you know, and they're like, man, I saw you in Germany, you know, or I saw you in Turkey, or you know, or Korea, things like that. And but they're mid now, and they're like, dude, I was only 19 back then, I was 18, and now they got kids. So that's pretty cool part of it.
Wow, that solidifies them as a fan for life.
Yeah, no, that's yeah, it's really cool.
I
You
was
just
in the army in 73 in Germany, and nobody came to
what?
entertain the troops. So it's really special to me when I know that a comedian has entertained. You're very special to me.
Oh,
Anybody who has entertained the troops is very special to me.
I feel like you know, it's funny because when people say, and this is troops, people everywhere, and I think I didn't get it as a younger comic. It took me a long time to be where I'm at. Um, you know, when I went through my growth, my spiritual growth, my mental growth, and I've always been very immature, you know, and there was a time where I would get real cocky, you know. I was on the Tonight Show when I was a young comic many times. You start getting full of yourself. I'll tell you a story about that. Right? I'll tell you
Okay.
what an
Okay.
idiot I was. And then as you get older and wiser, you realize you're like, wow, man, people, the audience give more to me than I give to them. I don't care how hot the show was. The show could have like popped and everybody's like, you know, they're buying your merchandise and they can't wait to say hi to you. If you are really leveled, if you're grounded, you take in this energy that people are giving you. Where when you're younger, well, for me, I'm not saying, because there are young wise people, but I wasn't one of them. I remember I was just like, yeah, that's right, I'm the man, you know, that's right. You know, you're lucky to have me. You know what I mean? I was a young idiot. And I'll give you a situation where I did a Tonight Show, one of the Tonight Shows. I forget which one it was. And at that time I had an assistant, you know, and I walked in the Tonight Show and he was carrying my bags. I go in there, I do the show. He gets my bags and I give Jay a hug and everybody who was there. Tonight Show people were always awesome, man. And then I get to my next gig because I had to fly out the next day and be at I remember it's Kansas City. And I get to my hotel and the phone rings. right? I mean, and I was just thinking, I just checked in, so I think they're there to say, sir, if you need anything, thank you, whatever, right? So I pick up the phone and it's Jay Leno. And yeah, and then Jay goes, hey, Willie, how you doing? And I was like, what the hell? What the hell is Jay Leno calling me in my hotel in Kansas City? And how did he get the number, right? So I'm like, I'm doing good, Jay. Thank you for having me on the show. Hey, he goes, it was great having you, Willie. Thank you. Hey, man, I just want to say something to you. Hey, Willie, I'm really good friends with Clint Eastwood. He goes, me and Clint Eastwood are pretty good friends. And just want to let you know, he still carries his own bags. And I said, okay. He goes, no, that's all I want to say, man. But have some great shows out there and keep up the good work. And I hung up and I just felt like a dumbass. I felt like, man, he noticed that, So I never let anybody carry my bags every time I went to Tonight Show after that, So.
Wow. That's crazy. He's the epitome of being humble too.
He's I can tell you things, but he doesn't like putting his business out there. But I can, and I'm not going to do it either because he says that's not why I do it. So I can tell you some things. Some off the record, I'll tell you things that he does that he doesn't publicize, that he does with his money for humanity, which he doesn't give a crap about people knowing or not. I mean, he cares about who he helps, but he doesn't give a crap about people knowing that. He's a good dude.
Yeah, I know that I lived in Los Angeles for a year and I went to the VA hospital as a patient in West LA. And one thing people don't know is that every year at the West LA VA, he put on a show.
I'm sure. I'm sure. I mean, I didn't know about that, but there's a lot of cool stuff he does. He's a good dude, man. I'll tell you a story about the first one. I already had met him. I already had been on the show like 3 times, and he wanted to meet with me to talk about a project. And he tells me, hey, Willie, you gotta remember this is before like phones with Google and things like that, right? So he gives me the address in Beverly Hills. And I remember back then I had this kind of like a little bit of beat up Celica. And I'm kind of lost in Beverly Hills. And here's this, raggedy cars, a Mexican youngster, driving Beverly Hills, like stopping at like houses looking in, And I didn't even notice there was a Beverly Hills cop behind me. He must have been following me for a while because my dumb ass, I was, oblivious. And finally I see his house and I'm looking at the paper. I'm looking at his house, looking at the paper. And then I hear, whoop, the cop siren, whoop, whoop. And then they're like, hey man, what are you doing? And I said, I'm visit a friend. And he goes, yeah, sure. Who's your friend? I said, Jay Leno. And they're like, yeah, okay, Jay Leno. Hey man, why don't you get out the car? They were gonna start really, going through my car and all. I said, look, dude, I go right there. He gave me a code. So we were like 20 feet from the body. Go ahead, press it. So I went over and I pressed the code and it's Jay, and it's like, he's like, hey, Willie, that distinctive voice he has. And he goes, come on in. And then the gate opens and I look at the cops. Told you. Anyways, I went in. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So you've met his wife, Mavis?
Oh, she's a doll, man. She's good people as well. No, they're all good vibes, man, with them.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you've traveled around the country, the world. You've been in dive bars and probably done comedy for 20,000 at a time.
Yeah. I've done many shows. I've done shows for 20,000, like you said, and I've done shows for 10 people. And it's funny. One time I put a picture, and I was in, and I know that I was in Kentucky. I think the club was called Caravans. It was a small club in Louisville. And how some clubs have a Sunday night? Because usually it's like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Saturday is like the peak, right? And then if you have a Sunday show, it's like, you know, because it's not that same energy. So I remember putting, there was only like 12 people, 15 people on Sunday. The weekend was badass, but this is Sunday now. And I took a picture of the audience I just wanted to. I just took a picture of the audience because there was like eight people there probably. And I just put, this is how much I love comedy. So it doesn't matter whether it's, you know, 8 people or the room is full, man. I just feel the same love. Some other comedian put there like, yeah, I hate that. And some other comedian, yeah, I hate that too. And then I just, you know, I said, well, then you must not love comedy, man. Because to me, it could be 5 people, you know, those 5 people got up, got out of their house, they got dressed, they got in their car, they put gas in their car, they parked their car to see you, man, to see you. And you gotta give back some love, you know. And that's how I look at it, you know. And also a challenge, you know. Hey, you got 5 people, all right, man. You know, see if I can make you guys laugh.
Yes.
Whatever, yeah.
I'm from Portland, Oregon originally, and one time, one of the comedian friends in Portland said, I'm going to go see Jimmy Schubert. He's going to be at the Hard Rock, which is in a very bad part of Portland. It's in Methville, and which is East Portland. And so I went along with this guy to watch Jimmy Schubert. We were the only ones in the audience, 2 people. And he delivered his set like he was doing Madison Square Garden. I never forgot it.
Well, that's why Jimmy, he's a pro. That's why he's, you know, guys like that, people know about them. People know who they are, you know. By the way, I you know, certain cities get bad raps or whatever, you know. I'm not into Republican, Democrat. To me, I just divide them into good people, bad people. But that being said, I really enjoyed that club, Harveys, back, you know, in Portland. So it's a really, really fun club.
I was there when you came through.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I've been there I moved here like a year and 3 months ago, but I was there for a long, long time. When did you go to Harvey's? It was just a few years ago, wasn't it? When you went through?
I think I started like 5 years ago working that club. Yeah.
I remember you coming through.
Yeah, no, it was good vibes, good people, you know, thinking outside the box. You know, people always ask me like, oh, what's your favorite city? There's no favorite city. It's just, you could be in Miami one day and the audience is with you, you know, and then the next day they're not. So people ask me, what's your favorite city? I don't have a favorite city. I just have a favorite audience that vibes, you know?
That's the way to do it.
Right.
Have you ever done anything special that makes the audience laugh before you actually get on stage?
Like, I don't, like, what do you mean? Like,
so the other night I got very lucky and I got a guest spot at the LA Comedy Club. And
nice.
They have, thank you. And they have pillars and that block people's view of the stage. And I was standing behind a pillar waiting for Mike Krasner to get done with my long-winded introduction. I was like, this is not necessary. I'm a baby comic, really. And so I'm standing there and I'm like doing like this, scraping my feet on the ground, like I can't wait to get on stage. And then I'm playing peekaboo around the post and I'm getting the audience to laugh before I go on stage. I'm going to do that from now on.
That was really, did you plan that?
No.
Did you plan that? Or was it just organic?
It was just organic. And I thought, wow.
Okay, well, can I share my thoughts on that?
Please.
Okay, this would be like what I would tell a friend, or I would say, don't try to duplicate that because the next time is going to be contrived. The reason you did that, because what I would say is repeat the mental state you were in. What made you do that? Like, what made you get that vibe? Did you have, was it coffee you had before up there? Was it a shot you had? Was it, what made you feel so good that you just let yourself go? That is what I would say for you to repeat, because those things comedic things that come to us, there is an abundance. The abundance is like it doesn't end. It's just, you know, the universe, like no ending, you know. So there's a lot of stuff still gonna come your way just like that. Thousands of things like that. I don't know if that makes sense.
Oh, it does. That's great encouragement for me.
Yeah.
And I like that you're preparing me, because otherwise I would have gone up and tried to do the exact same thing and it would have looked artificial.
Yeah, and then what would happen? So you're doing something that's already planned or contrived. Then you go up there and it might follow you. You know, it might follow. You know, your rhythm. So I don't know. It's just a suggestion. You know.
Please,
who knows? I might be wrong.
No, I really appreciate it. I'm going to use that information. Thank you so much. Because if I did it again and it didn't work, then I'd be like scratching my head. Now I don't have to.
Yeah.
That's
I
great.
think what worked was your attitude.
Yeah, I couldn't wait to get on stage.
Nice.
Like,
you should tell them that. You should tell do you tell the audience that?
No.
Have you told them that?
No.
Tell them that. Listen, they want to hear the truth. If that's what you're feeling, let it out. You know, so just say, you know, break away from the script. You know, they want to hear you be natural. Even, you know, you already know your jokes that work, and you know so you already have a set. So trust the set that you worked hard to have, that it's in your back pocket, but also trust that you're special and that what you say is unique. Unique means nobody else has that. And I think that's where a lot of comedians, some comedians, when I see them, I say, man, they're trying too hard. They don't believe, they got to believe in themselves, you know? And then and all that comes from self-love, right? You know, I think the comedians that try too hard, they need to work on some self-love, because I've heard comedians say like, oh, you know, they're trying to get the love from the audience, right? That they didn't get as a kid, or we didn't get, because we're all, and I don't care, I hate when people say just comedians, everybody's screwed up. We all have shit from our past, from our childhood, everybody, but I hate when they put it on us, on comedians, that's us, because we have the balls, you know, or the strong vaginas, you know, for the women, that to go up there and put it all out there. But I believe if you do, I mean, obviously you love you enjoy the love from the audience, but I think if you have love for yourself, you're not needy of it. You're welcoming it, which is two different things. And I think when you're needy on stage for their acceptance, it shows. And now you gave the power to the audience. I don't know. See, I don't even know who said that. I don't even know.
I love that.
Me. There was some comedy ghost got in me and started talking. See that?
My goal when I get on stage is to make everybody in the room know that I love them somehow, right, some way. And I'm not even thinking about if they love me. My focus is on making sure they non-verbally get that I'm not an old lady who's racist, that's bigoted, that's got, you know, like that they get that I just love everybody. I couldn't wait to get on here to love you, you know?
Yeah. No, I dig it. I dig it. I vibe that. I mean, that's what they're there for. They're there to have somebody make them feel better. So you're on the right track.
Thank you so much. Well, Willie, where can people follow you to help your numbers? We know that the clubs want a lot of followers these days, even though it shouldn't be a deal. Where would you like people to follow you?
Well, they can go to my Instagram and follow me on Instagram, you know, at Willie Barcena, WILLIE, Barcena, B as a boy, ARCENA. They can go to my YouTube channel. I got a bunch of comedy clips there. And obviously here on Facebook. And I got a couple specials. They're on Amazon now. You know, the ones that were on Netflix, the one that was on Netflix, and one that was on, I believe it was, I don't know if it was Showtime or Comedy Central, but the two of the specials are on Amazon Prime now. You just have to, you know, put my name, put, you know, Willie Barcena, and they'll come up.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you have a website where people could buy merchandise or see where
Yeah, you
you're
know,
going to be?
I do. I'm revamping that. I'm fixing it. And if you want stuff like that, it's Willie Barcena is, you know, again, it's my website, Willie Bar. And I'm going to be at the Stratosphere every Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday.
What?
Yeah, starting the 21st.
So March 21st, every
20,
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
yeah, at midnight.
Wow, you got
Or
your
11,
own
I'm
show.
sorry, 11:30. 11:30. They told me it's 11:30, not midnight, but 11:30.
Okay.
And you come by and do a set.
Thank you, I will. Oh, that's so great. Thank you so much. So they can look forward to getting tickets and coming and supporting you at the Stratosphere in the Dragon Room at the LA Comedy Club.
Right.
Las Vegas. Wow. Yeah. So cool. Thanks for the invite.
Well, yeah. Well, I look forward to seeing you.
Thank you so much. Anything you want to say to people? Is there anything I didn't ask you that you want to cover at all?
No, you know, I mean, you know, comedians, you know, we can talk forever. I just I don't know, just hope you guys search for my comedy and hope you dig it, you know.
Yes.
That's it.
I'm going to go grab some of your videos and put them online today for people to see.
All right. I appreciate that.
And I'll type this information into this post and share it, and I'll send you a copy. Will you share it to your Instagram and Facebook?
Yeah. When you send it or when you tag me, I'll share it.
Thank you so much.
Okay. I appreciate you.
Okay. See you up at the Stratosphere.
We'll see you. See you.
Thanks a lot. Bye.